think, obviously I thought, in the beginning of the game we started well defensively, went out there, had a nice stop. We get the ball offensively. We drive down the field and, we wound up kicking a field goal, which is, always something that you like to go and get that first score on the board. And I thought after that, we really didn't have much going offensively. I thought the defense was doing a good job. We gave up a sack fumble. We had a play-action pass that shouldn't be tipped at the line of scrimmage that was tipped. And then we had a ball go off one of our receivers, which is that was thrown. So, we had the 3 turnovers. We were able to overcome one. We turned it over. Then Telvin made a nice play. Telvin and Gipp were in position to make it. The other disappointing part was, we gave up 3 points early on, in the first half, and we can't do that. We get a penalty that gets us at a field goal range, and then wind up getting the ball tipped and a pick. So those things we've got to do a better job in either starting with me and calling what we want to get called in those situations, how we're going to overcome them. Thought the second half we went out and a couple things, most of the drives on offense started with penalties. It was very difficult to overcome that. We had a plan that, screens have worked well. I think, give Tennessee credit. They did a good job. They were defending them well. They didn't, they did a good job today from that standpoint. And then, then we kick a ball down the middle of the field and get a big punt return, and that's 7. And, they get the ball back again on the 50. They take a shot. We get beat on a guy makes a good play on a go. Had some good coverages, but at the end of the day, when you look at 3 turnovers, compared to 1, you look at the penalties, when they occur, where do they occur. Those things are very challenging, for us, and that's not the way we want to play. So at the end of the day, just like I said before, after the first week I wasn't too high. This week I'm not too low. I've got to do a better job, making sure, the penalties, not putting us in those, poor situations. And then, obviously at the end I talked to the team about, obviously that's frustration, and those things need to be pointed to things that are going to make us better and get ready to play the next play. So that was my talk with the team, and I'm looking forward to, obviously cleaning this thing up and getting back to work.
Doug, on offense, did it look like self-inflicted stuff?
Yeah. Anytime you have, like, hold in, hands to the face, we run a mesh route for a big gain, and we just need to continue to run. It wasn't meant to be a pick. The 2 guys ran into each other. I think those are the things that I know I can do a better job of coaching, and I think we can do a better job, and that would help us in the execution. So I would say those things are, unforced errors, you know what I'm saying? So yes, I would agree with that. And I think it's hard to overcome those things.
Deb, did you ever consider changing quarterbacks?
For what reason?
I was asked if you ever
Yeah.
considered.
No.
This was your first game without A-Rob. Were they putting some extra attention toward Marquise to go downfield, or was it a combination of things?
No, I think what happened was early on, coverage-wise, was what we expected, and then once the game got to a 2 to 3 score game, then obviously the coverage changed, like in most teams would do. So I didn't see anything where there was an emphasis on one or the other. But obviously I'm not going to sit here and say losing A-Rob doesn't hurt. Obviously it does. I said it last week. But it's a challenge for us, and we've got to find ways to do a better job.
Coach, do you feel like the defense wore down in the second half?
They popped us on a couple. We lost the edge. I think that's one of my concerns when we go back and look at it. They wound up getting the ball. They were dipping it in, dipping it out. We've got to make sure we control the edges. We got hit inside. We got lost a gap. I mean, we had as many people up there as we're going to get. So we did everything we could to fill the gaps up, and we just got to make the plays. And credit to those guys and jumping that ball outside. They made some nice runs.
Doug, from what you saw, why do you think Blake was unable to spark the offense in the second half?
Well, I think you look at when you look at again, a lot of emphasis is going to go back to that. It's kind of the question about the quarterback. Sack fumble. That's blindsides hit, you know, what are you gonna do there? You know, it's not like he's not trying to make it. He made some plays on his feet. You know, the second one, I mean, the guy's open, you know, it's a play action pass. People shouldn't have their hands up. That's up front, you know, that can't happen. You know, then the next one, you know, I got to take a better look at it. But, you know, anytime that ball touches anyone's body, you know, and then, you know, some of the catches we have to make, some of the, you know, things we have to do offensively, we got to put our players in good shape. But, you know, it's hard to call plays, you know, when you're starting out, you know, first and 20, you know, things like of that. So, you know, those are tough things. And you're making decisions of, hey, do we, you know, we try to come out of it, you know, and try to take some shots down the field, and we give a sack up, you know what I'm saying? And now it's field position again. So these are the things that are going through, you know, our minds when we're out there.
So, you mentioned just a moment ago about trying not to be too high, not too low.
Yeah.
We get 10 sacks at quarterback, and this week, this Tennessee line pretty much protected Mariota and the running backs. Talk a little about that and, you know, things that you were trying, you know, what wasn't working.
Well, no, I thought early on we were starting to get good pressure to him. I mean, that's why I think you saw him throw the interception. You know, he's throwing off his back foot. We were having some good rushes. I think, you know, you saw his escapability at times. You know, I thought Miles made a nice play on the first sack. You know, he was ready to escape and run, and Miles made the tackle on the third down play. You know, a couple other ones where he was able to escape and get rid of the ball. So I don't look at it from that standpoint of, you know, a lot of times in games, those things come dependent upon the score, you know, and I thought, you know, we didn't have a lot of opportunities later on, obviously, because our concern was, you know, trying to stop the run, and I can't speak for them, but I'm sure they were trying to run the ball and eat up as much clock.
Double-digit penalties, second week in a row. How big of a concern is that moving forward?
It's always a concern. I think, you know, it's funny, you know, penalties, most people talk about from an analytical standpoint don't really coincide with winning or losing. I don't agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I think they do. And, you know, that's something that we have to clean up now, because I think, you know, when you look at this game and people say that, you know, at the end of the year when they look at those statistics that they don't really win or lose, well, you know, I always say, well, look at this game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this does not give us the position that we want to be in from a standpoint of field position, a standpoint of being able to run the football the way we want to.
Thanks, Coach.
Great, thank you guys.